Welcome to Werks. Today's video is a trip to the American Precision Museum in Windsor, Vermont. If you have any interest in manufacturing, consider this a must-see place. This place is part of our history and I consider it a national treasure. The American Precision Museum combines the atmosphere of an original 19th century factory building with a world-class collection of historic machines. The 1846 Armory building, the Shaping of America exposition, and accompanying programs explore the industrial history in the context of innovation, creative problem solving, and the impact of precision manufacturing on American history and culture. The American Precision Museum is located in the Robinson Lawrence Armory, a National Historic Landmark located in Windsor, Vermont. In 1846, Samuel Robbins, Nicola Candle, and Richard Lawrence took the bold step of bidding on a government contract for 10,000 rifles. Having won the contract, they then constructed a 4-story brick building beside Millbrook. They brought in workers and mechanics, invented new machines, adapted old ones, and perfected techniques for producing interchangeable parts. Within a few years, they were exporting not only rifles, but also their new metal cutting machines across North America to England and around the world. The technology for making guns was quickly adapted to making consumer products as well as parts for many other machines. The imposing 4-story structure rises from a stone foundation adjacent to the brook that provided immediate and efficient use of water power. Inside, power was distributed throughout each floor with line shafting. The shafts were connected to individual machines by leather belts. Abundant windows and the building's narrow width relative to its length brought daylight into the interior work areas. Outside, the immediate neighborhood is still home to worker housing that was built at various times in the factory's history. Nearby Connecticut River and the active railroad attest to the importance of transportation in the development of the site. The Armory building is significant for its architectural integrity, which reflects the size, scale, and operation of a 19th century factory. A National Historic Landmark, in 2001 it was designated a special project of Save America's Treasures. In 2003, APM received a Save America's Treasure Award of $200,000 for installing a new slate roof to replace the deteriorated original. The museum was designated an International Heritage Site and Collection by the American Society of Mechanical Engineers in 1987. For each of these designations, the Armory was considered a site where pivotal events occurred in the history of American industry, as well as a place that lends itself to comprehensive interpretation of that. The first phase of the Industrial Revolution was introduced in America during the late 18th century and was modeled on the English system of textile manufacturing. In 1846, when the Armory was built, the second phase of the Industrial Revolution, the American system, was about to be launched. In the remote village of Windsor, entrepreneurs and artisans had already constructed a series of dams that powered sawmills and a gristmill on the Millbrook, 18 buildings and shops in total. In these small workshops, inventors developed designs for new products as well as making both new and old items more quickly. In Windsor and other towns up and down the Connecticut River Valley, new industries attracted more people and stimulated the creation of commercial downtowns. Bill stores and homes were clustered between the river and the steep hillside. American contractors and manufacturing firms such as Robinson Lawrence and Cole exhibited at the Crystal Palace exhibition in 1851. A few years later, the British Parliament sent a group to study the American system of interchangeable manufacturing and to secure the machinery necessary to introduce the system at Enfield Armory near London. What's the American system of manufacturing? It depends on who you ask, and generally speaking, these elements are included. Division of labor. Instead of one craftsman making each part by hand, machine tools and jigs were used for different operations. Semi-skilled workers could then run a machine that would make the same part in the same way. Interchangeable parts. Component parts of pistols are to correspond so exactly with any limb or part of one pistol may be fitted with any other pistol of the 20,000. Is what a U.S. government contract, the first to specify interchangeable parts, said to Simon North. In order to be sure that the parts are in fact interchangeable, measurement and quality assurance is required. Mechanization. Machine tools were designed specifically for each operation. Robinson and Lawrence contract for the Enfield machinery included universal millers, standard millers, double millers, screw millers, clamp millers, 4-spindle drillers, and machines for tapping, edging, grooving, squaring, threading, chucking, broaching, saw slotting, screw pointing, screw clipping, punching, index milling, turning, and rifling. Machines as a resource. In his report to Parliament in 1854, a British commissioner stated that the Americans used machinery whenever possible. Whenever it can be introduced as a substitute for manual labor, it is universally and willingly resorted to. Additionally, the returns on machinery investments are calculated not merely in the narrow sense of money, but in the wider sense of adding to the firm's resources and improving the working conditions of the staff. The building operated as a cotton mill beginning in 1866 for nearly 2 decades, before returning to manufacturing machine tools in 1888. 10 years later, the property was sold to the Windsor Electric Light Company before being sold to the Central Vermont Public Service Company in 1926. In 1964, CVVS proposed raising the building, prompting Smithsonian curator and Windsor resident Ed Batson to formulate plans for the creation of a museum. Batson had a relationship with CVPS, storing various items in the building since the 1950s. Windsor native Edward A. Batson founded the American Precision Museum in 1966 and serves as its director until 1991. Batson, a curator of mechanical engineering at the National Museum of American History at the Smithsonian Institution, secured the Robbins and Lawrence Armory to house the museum and the world-class collection of historic machine tools, related books, and archived materials he had collected during his lifetime. In 1999, new leadership began professionalizing the operations, preserving the physical assets, and marketing to a wider audience. APM undertook a major restoration effort, installing a new slate roof, completing interior structural repairs, restoring 2/3 of the historic wood windows, rewiring the building, updating the security and fire detection systems, and launching a masonry restoration program. This 4,000 square foot exhibit focuses on the people whose work made great societal changes possible and the rise of the American system of manufacturing. Shaping America is the first comprehensive exhibit to examine Vermont's industrial history in depth and explores the broad themes of innovation, problem-solving, craftsmanship, and the influence of precision manufacturing upon American history and culture. Precision manufacturing reinforced the growth of the American middle class and laid the foundation for the consumer culture that developed during the 19th and 20th centuries. The American Precision Museum played an important role in the development of precision manufacturing and the machine tool industry in America. The Robbins and Lawrence Armory served as a breeding ground for innovation in the mid-19th century and as a center for excellence in the high-tech industry of its day. Military leaders and industrialists traveled to Windsor to learn about the new American system of manufacturing, and the workers from Windsor were aggressively recruited by other emerging industries. By increasing productivity, the machine tool industry spread the notion that material abundance was possible for a broad cross-section of the American people. At its full maturity in the mid-20th century, the machine tool industry provided the backbone of American industrial strength and helped the United States develop into a world power. Thank you for watching Werks, and please like, subscribe, and comment.